All right, so let's take a look. I'm gonna share the screen. This is what I'm working on now. Definitely trying to pick pages where there aren't any spoilers to kind of show you guys a bit of the process. So what we have here is basically a completed page, pencils, inks, colors. Early in the morning, kind of get that feel for those reddish hues and the sun's coming up, you know, early in the morning. Um, and we kind of get into the process of putting these pages together. So essentially, you'll see like these pages are way blown up. So this is like if I was to print this, like at a printer, it would be almost a post page. So we have to get it down to a comic book size page. Now, technically, I could do a lettering. Um, oops, let's delete that. Don't know what that is. Delete that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Technically, trying to figure out what this is and why I can't delete it. Oh, it's the link. Not sure why it's on there. There we go. I must have accidentally copy pasted it. Anyway, so technically I could letter it from here. This is blown up like this. Most likely, this is what I get back from the course. So um, let me pull up the um, the inks for you on this page 16. So this is going to be a 22 page comic. It's chapter 1 of what's going to be 6 chapters. So let's pull this up real quick. So this is the inks, right? So the colors is going in there. And again, we're trying not to get rid of all these little details that the artist who did the inks put in, right? So he's probably blowing this thing up way up so that he doesn't color over the line. So this is done by hand. This isn't done. These aren't digital drawings. These are done by hand and then scanned. So he's probably blowing this way up when he does the colors because the colors are done digital. So he can get right in between all these little lines here. So when he sends it to me, close that. It's way bigger than it needs to be. Now I could lower it like this and then change the size. But what happens with that is you get some funky font sizes like 6.789 tenths. Um, and I like to know exactly what my font sizes are to try to keep that consistency. So what I'm going to do is change the artboard size to comic book size. So we got to go here and we're going to go 7.5 inches by 10 inches, which is what my printer specs need to be, right? I'm going to zoom out. Zoom out. And we're just going to take this and bring it down to size. Zoom back in. Center it. And here's the thing. It looks like, right? It looks like, oh, it's a little too small, right? Well, actually, so there's an area called the bleed, which is essentially the edges around the book, right? So a portion of this, probably like this much, like if I go in on this mouse to like right about here, when I send this to the printer, it's going to be chopped off anyway. And then I like to have a little extra layer because that gives me some leeway to work with the balloons if I want to stick something out outside the page a little bit. So I don't mind that. Um, and yeah, so now we're going to do these layers. So basically we have the main layer and then we have 3 layers. So usually I'm going to lock this layer, and then this layer will be for the word balloons, and this layer will be for the text. So again, let me let me pull up my balloons. So these are my pre-made balloons, a couple different styles. This is the one we're going with. And the thing is, like, most balloons are coming with these smooth lines just to do something different, give it a different feel. Um, and almost give it a bit of a hand-drawn feel. One of the tricks to word balloons too is um, always making them slightly uneven, right? Not completely symmetrical, right? And when you do, I'll give you an example. When you do something like this, a lot of people will do this for their word balloons, and they'll just leave it like that. And that's fine. Um, Nothing wrong with that. They might like go ahead and take the edges and move them out like this to kind of give it a, um, different shape, and they'll do that on both sides, right? They might do something like this, um, and just leave it like that. But what I usually do, and what you'll see, like, and this is really kind of a manga trick, um, and I feel like more traditional comics should use it. Is you might just take something like this, and what I would do is maybe I'll do this one just a little bit. Come on, a little shorter, and maybe I'll do it on both sides, right? Just a little shorter. I don't know why it's fighting me right now. Something like that. You say, what's the difference? To the eye, it kind of gives it that hand drawn look, and so you kind of want them to be slightly asymmetrical. You want them to be perfectly lined up, um, because because it just looks better kind of on the page, right? So usually how I'm working, so I'm working on this screen that I'm showing you guys, but I have another screen. Um, I have another screen up that shows the script, right? So let me go show you guys that in a second, because right now it doesn't look like my computer's cooperating. There we go. Here we go. Let's open this up. Actually, it looks like my updating. Cool. So if you guys actually just look down into um, if you look into the bottom box, if you look into the bottom box of the stream, I'll show you what I'm looking at. Hold on, I gotta change some things so you guys can see it properly. So if you look on, because I got 2 monitors up and two, if you look, you'll see this is the script. So I'm working off the script here, and then on this page I have the comic. You guys can see that. Like I said, if you look on the bottom screen, you'll be seeing the comic script. And I have my word balloons preset. So we're on page 16. So I'm going to go down to page 16 of the script. Now I've got dialogue in here. It's generally a filler because sometimes the artist is going to come with some pages that are a bit wonky. Doesn't quite, well, way past. Spoilers, don't read that. Uh, that's chapter 2. we're in chapter one, so going to page um, 16, 14, 15, 15. I feel like I'm missing it. Oh, here it is. Wait, this is still, what is happening here? Oh, this is not the right file. That's why. I'm like, what is going on here? Let's go open. This is what I wanted to open. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. There we go. So here we go. Finally, um, working off the script. So this is what I have for the narration. Um, Sometimes I'll put it in, sometimes I'll change it. Depends on if there's space. I mean, there's plenty of space you'll see in the script for the for me to fit what I need to fit in here. And so I'm going to do something like try to stay consistent. So go to my word balloons. I don't have what I want here, so I'm actually going to open page one to get my narration box. Make sure it's exactly the same. So I'll go open page one. I'm just going to take this narration box, copy it, make sure I'm on my second layer, paste it, and we're here. And this needs to be way smaller this time because there's just not as much to say. So shrink this down a bit. And text. We're going to add our text, which is, I'm going to go here. The next morning. Actually, we'll go the next day. Just simpler, less confusing. All right. Simple narration, just letting you know what time it is. The time has passed. And obviously, we're not going to leave that font. I'm going to go back, make sure I'm consistent with the font that's being used. Font is, and we're going to go here. And that's way too big, size 10. Perfect. The next day. And we've got my man here. And so now I have to decide how I'm going to do his dialogue here. Because in this first panel here, he's basically saying like it's a knock at the door, right? It's basically like calling out to them, but it's early in the morning, they're asleep. uh, so I could have him saying something here or here. He's so small. I think it might be more beneficial here because then it's like he's kind of shouting into the town, if you will, like he's shouting out for everyone to hear. It kind of fits this guy's personality. He's kind of rude. Or I could have it come from here. And I'm just going to take a look and see what looks the best. I'm going to grab my word balloon here. And we're going to go to my balloon layer. And the reason why I'm getting that color thing is because this is in CMYK. And honestly, I should change this also, probably to CMYK, because that's what it's going to be for the print. Not that big a deal because obviously I'm using RGB. You say, what am I talking about? Right here, RGB, red, green, blue. I think this is like cayenne, magenta, yellow, something. But basically different color formats. I mean, it's white. It's white. Uh, these balloons. So now I'm just looking. Let's say I put it here, right? It's kind of like he's shouting out, or I could put it here. And so this is like the difference between the two, right? So if I put it here, I feel like this is more of a stern thing, and this is more of a kind of like a rude thing. Like he's rude, he's shouting it out in the ether, and this is more direct. He's kind of at the door saying, I demand an audience or whatever. And I think I'm maybe I'll do both, right? So I'm gonna copy this, go here, we'll go here. Nah, because I'm gonna read this first, so I'd have to go way up here. I think I've decided. I think this is the way to go. Right. I think this is the way to go. Maybe subject to change. Again, this is just kind of like showing you guys the process. Got about half of these pages done already for the Kickstarter. Um, so definitely, you'll be getting your books pretty quick if once this is successfully funded. Um, these books are going to come out quite fast, I think. Um, Got to get the proofs out and everything, but again, you can kind of see where we're at in the process here. Let's go text. And again, trying to do these spoiler-free pages. Um, Probably do a couple of these pages, but also then just show you guys some other things. When I do these live streams. And I'm gonna try to do these like maybe a couple of times a week for the duration of the campaign. Um, so I like to use for this specifically, this is what I did. So Unicorn Melee Volume 1, the first one, which is again a part of the campaign for most of the tiers. Um, One of the things I did is I took kind of that approach that you see this in more long form stories where it's not all the same font. So Rami and Shad have their own fonts. So, the idea behind that is they speak different. They kind of have different fonts. The general fonts I'm using for the auxiliary characters that aren't necessarily main characters in the narrator. Um, but Rami and Shad will have their own font. And we introduce this a very an important character in chapter 3, who will also get their own font. Um, but for now, he gets the generic font, and we have to. So it's a size 9, which I'm fine with, uh, because I got to make it fit. Remember what I said about the bleed, so I don't mind bumping right up against this or even going over a little bit because I've got that space. It's going to get cut off right about here. So this should still stand. I'm going to put it up a little higher because that also applies to the top. So like this is going to be sliced like from like right here and then across, right? And now I got to make it fit. I'm really big on larger font. Um, I'd rather cut dialogue than squeeze a bunch of font in a small manner into it because I just think it makes comics more accessible and funner to read because everything's just large and it's there for the most part. I think, like I said here, let's go back here, intentionally small because um, it's the idea that like you walk into a bar and there's just a bunch of conversations going on. Can't really quite hear what's going on, but if you listen real close, you can. And that's kind of this. If you pay attention real close. So the digital version, you zoom in, see what they're saying. And on the print version, the page will be large enough that you'll be able to read it. But you just got to look a little harder than you do, like if you're reading something like this, and this, So, that's kind of the thought behind it. We got So I can actually go ahead and take this down to about, yeah. So I take this down to an 8, maybe, or 7. 7 should be good. Okay, not too small, not too big. Always gotta save, and gotta change this to UNME 16. Yeah, but continue to work on this page. So we got that. I generally don't like to add the tails. I'm going to add the tail just to show you, just for you guys to see. But usually I don't. I wait till I fully let the page before I add the tails. But this is looking real nice to me. Right, the next day, hello, a demanding audience. Um, Whatever. Like, who are you to demand an audience? Um, Wait. So that's on the wrong. Let's go back. Got to go here and go back again. Want to grab it from here. This looks good. Give it a little. Oh, oh, oh. Why is it doing this? There we go. Add the tail. So you'll see when I add the tail, it's going to straighten everything out, right? So we got the tail in there. When I do the combine these two into one, well, to effects. Um, you mean? Well, remember I was like kind of rough, kind of give it that hand drawn feel. Well, I want to bring that back. So distort, go to roughen. We're gonna go 0. 0.6, and then we're gonna bring this up to about there. Oh, boom, just like that. Looking good. Obviously, it's early in the morning. Shad, none too pleased. You know what I mean? Who's that? Who's creeping in the window? You know what I mean? So let's go grab another balloon. Try to stay consistent with the balloons. Again, it's that warning is for RGB. Let's bring this down. So this is a little tricky because Shad, see, this is what I'm talking about where the script might call for one thing, but the artist does something a little different. So Shad is basically coming down the steps, like who's banging on the door? Like, who is this? But where do I put that on this page? Could go up here and that would work. And I might do that. Or I think what might fit better is here, right? Because initially it's Shad saying, who's banging on the door in the script, which I can show you guys right here. Um, but I think what I'm going to do, and again, you got to kind of work the dialogue to make it fit. I'm actually going to put it here because he's still asleep here. Rami's waking up. Rami's not going to go downstairs, so he's going to send Shad to do it. So I think I'm going to change the dialogue up here and have Rami say something like, "Shad, go see who's banging on the door." Uh, you guys hear my baby in the background. Might end this have to end this live stream early because kids got to eat. Um, But you'll see, like, so you can see kind of how the transition changes. So I think that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to do something because that would be more fitting. Where Rami says, Shed, see who's banging on the door. Right. And got to give Rami his font, which is this style. We're going to go a little bigger than that. We're going to go to 8. So we got that. Shad, see who's banging. I'm going to go back on the door. So I'm looking at this lettering. See, it's a little too much extra space for me. I'm going to try to see if I can't do this way, right? Back. Shad, see who's. I'm going to put who's and banging on the same line like this. And we're going to make the balloon just slightly bigger. There. I'll zoom in because that helps me center it a lot better. Can even kind of close this down a bit. Don't want to do it too much. So now I got to see where the placement, because I don't want to cover Shad up. So what I'm going to do is kind of an arching balloon here, right? I mean, we know it's Rami, so who's saying it, but just to confirm, probably have something going up, right? So we're here. Escape. I don't know why it's pen tool. Let's go back here. Pen. What the hell? Why is it giving me this? No. Hey, hey, hey. Trying to get a nice curve in the. There we go. So I'll do something like this, kind of goes up. And I got to bring it back down. Right. So we're going to go here towards the bottom. And then I got to take this. Right. Stretch it out. Pull it in. See, I don't like the way this should go up. There we go. See, it's crossing. I don't want it to cross. Let's go a little lower. There we go. Let's go a little higher. Boom. There we go. So just do something like this. Bang. And now since I've already applied that to this, all I got to do is go rough it. Okay. And so this might be a good opportunity to maybe I'll have Shad say something on the way down the steps. He'll say like, like muttering to himself, maybe like, why don't you go see who's, you know what I mean? Like something like that. But for now, so now we're here. Oh, it's fighting me. So now I gotta do two balloons because we've got. Oh wait, it's not gonna work. There we go. Got. See, I don't want to cover any of that up. Don't want to cover this part up. So we're gonna go here, top to bottom. Could put it here, put it here. Something like that. Actually, if I go to panel 4, and then, kind of just set the stage for where I want to put some of these things. Right, this can go right up here. So yeah, I mean, we get it. Got to cover his hand up a little bit. I hate to cover the artwork, but got to get it the point across. And then he's going to say something again here. We're going to shrink this though. I could put him down here. And then we got Rami. And so this is tricky because the way he did this, right, is it's hard. So I'm gonna put it down here, and I'm gonna have I tried a lot of to the body balloons, but you don't want to break this up. I think this is like just a great pose. It's a great look. Um, so yeah, for now, that's the live stream, guys. I'm gonna go back over the paint and maybe we'll pick back up on the next live and finish these balloons off. But that's kind of the process we're putting together for these pages. You can see, man, I'm really excited about this book, guys. This is gonna be dope. Um, yeah, let me go and share the campaign with you guys for a second. And before I get out of here, because also the baby needs to eat. The baby gotta eat. All right, guys. So again, this is the campaign. Uh, almost 10% there. Um, you know, 45 days. The story, you know, Again, they thought they saved the world, but the unicorns haven't come back, and there are more monsters than ever before. So we're basically getting into the sequel. Rami gets a call from aid from one of his friends, and he's thrust into some action against some monsters, and deception. And actually, guys, you guys, again, we got some pretty cool rewards. This is going to be 22 pages. You also get Unicorn Melee Volume 1 and almost all of the tiers. These cool stickers as well, posters, and these set of prints, with some cool mythical creatures. Um, some sample pages as I was just working on. Again, these are, you know, some sample pages here, so you can see exactly what you're getting. Some real high quality art, real fun story. Kind of action fantasy, drama, comedy. It's really an action fantasy, but um, you know, with a light tone, serious things happening, but a light tone. Think something like Evil Dead, if you've seen that from the 80s. So it's like very serious, but also very light-hearted, if you will. But yeah, check it out. Link is in the below in the description. As Peace.